News Talk 100.3 FM. My name is Chris Baker, and it's roundtable time for those of you listening. We're here with our live studio audience, the Pure Market Express roundtable. Pure Market Express is here, and we're all enjoying delicious victuals, as we say in some circles. Did you guys have some Pure Market Express stuff yet? Yeah. Pretty good, huh? Yeah. This is worth the whole roundtable right here. Just enjoying the fresh delicacies from Pure Market Express, and we really appreciate their sponsorship here today. Now, on the panel, of course, our very good friend, Big Ron Rosenbaum. Yay, Big Ron! Myself, Chris Baker, and, of course, our very special guest today, heck of a guy. You may have heard of him, I don't know, Tom Emmer. I don't know if you know this, there was an election.
No.
Did you hear about the election? They had an election.
They called it an election.
And Tom Emmer got hosed. That's it. No, actually, Tom is kind enough to join us today, and we'll talk election stuff. And Tom, welcome to the big round table, sir.
Thank you for having me.
It's always fun. I like Tom Emmer. I think he's a good guy, and I wish he was going to be our governor. Yeah. But it is what it is. And I would say that a good indication of what a fine governor he would make is the fact that he didn't try to drag things out and turn this into some kind of, wine fest. I thought Tom Emmer handled himself with dignity and honor, and we should all be proud of him. He's a great guy. Did not win that election, or should I say is not going to be the governor, so I'm not sucking up for no reason. There's actually truth to what I said, so I'm not kissing up. All right, well, big roundtable stuff. Tom, I guess we ought to really start with you here on the roundtable. Governor's race, a few days ago you said, all right, we're done. How hard was that decision for you?
The decision wasn't too difficult by the end, but the delivering the message was probably one of the more difficult things that I've done, and it was primarily because of my wonderful family, Jackie and the kids. It's an emotional experience when you've invested 17 months of your life into something. But at the end of the day, I think when we all went back in the house and talked about the fact that we represented ourselves extremely well, and we hope and pray that we represented all of the people that supported us very well. And more importantly, I truly believe we represented Minnesota very well throughout the whole process. So I think it all, in the end, it worked out well. What did I tell you before we got here? I lost. I'm pissed. But no, I think you gotta be an adult about it. And the thing that people need to understand, which I'll keep coming back to, is we didn't ask for anything the law doesn't provide. It was that close. Over 2 million people cast ballots in the last election, and it was several thousand votes apart. The law requires a recount. That recount process was handled, I think, in a very expedient, legal, appropriate way. And you and I were talking. I saw what was happening with the ballots last week. I disagree with some of the things the Supreme Court did, but it doesn't matter. That's their decision. They make those decisions.
What's done is done.
That's right. You don't sit and look back. You say, okay, this is where we're at today. Now what do we do? And I think the best thing for the Emmer family, the best thing for the state of Minnesota, the best thing for our cause, which is about smaller government, putting people back in charge of their lives, is for us now to say it was not about us or about this Tom and Jackie and our family. It's about all of us. So now let's step back. Let's let the next governor get seated, and let's get this state moving forward.
Yeah, there you go. And this is probably a little out of left field here, but was there a point when you had a discussion with your kids and said, all right, if we win this thing, I don't want you throwing big parties in the governor's mansion? Because I'll tell you right now, if my dad would have been elected as governor, I'd have been the biggest jerk. I mean, I'd have been throwing my way. My dad is the governor. I mean, did you have any kind of conversation? I mean, I'm sure you probably didn't have to, but I mean, did you say anything to them? Did you look forward?
Well, we talk regularly. I mean, my 11-year-old, Billy, Billy approached me after we got done the other day when we went back in the house. He walked up, and my 11-year-old looked up at me and said, "Thank you for the best summer of my life."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was fun. And But I think Jackie would attest to the fact we went to a choir concert at school the other night, and we haven't been at a lot of these events, and when we have over the last year, it's been in and out because you're always on a schedule, so you don't get time to just hang around and talk to the people, our friends, and it was amazing. They were walking up telling us how wonderful our kids have been over the last year, and anybody who's in this room that's raised kids, I mean, when they're at home, it's a different issue, right? But it's great when other people are coming up and telling you how wonderful your kids are and how well behaved. I just think it was a great experience for all of us, and I don't know what kind of a jerk you would have been.
I think I only know you today. Yeah. I'm pretty much the jerk I am right now, but I'm telling you, if my dad would have been the governor, there would have been no stopping me.
Now, Rosenbaum's a totally different issue.
Yeah, by the way, thank you, Tom, for the best summer of my life, too. I don't know what the connection was, but I had a pretty good summer myself.
Yeah, I think that guy who's emptying the air out of your tires, I don't think he's back up here yet.
No, he always waits for me down in the parking lot. He's right in the room right now. I got a couple questions for, first of all, I appreciate you being here, Tom. I really do. Not, you know, I've read about people going into mourning when they lose and whatever, and I think that I got a lot of respect for you for the no whining rule, which tends to be something a lot of politicians do. But my question is, I could have well imagined you working with this legislature. This is a legislature that the likes of which I don't think we've had in this state in many, many years. How is Mark Dayton, who basically believes that he has a mandate to raise taxes, going to work with a legislature who I believe has a total mandate to not raise taxes at a time when the state has got monster problems? How's this going to work? Or is it going to work?
I think it can work, and I think you're right. Remember, the one thing that always makes it difficult to predict is there are human beings involved. So we have no idea ultimately what will motivate them and how they will react to public pressures that come through the wonderful media, that will come through their constituents, that will come from many different angles, special interests. But I think I was a little caught off guard the other day because I think, as I said, Governor-elect Dayton has handled himself as a gentleman, at least with Jackie and I.
You got along with him, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we did. We did. We've got a special sense of humor. How's that?
I've missed his, but
That's what makes it special.
It's very special, I'm sure. It's so special. It's like a magician. You don't actually ever see it.
Right. Some call it special. I would call it stealth.
If you don't watch real closely, you miss it. If you watch real closely, you miss it.
Yeah, I think you're being very unfair. Chris, you played the clip this morning. He's been working on being funnier.
Yeah, I'm working on trying to smile.
Hey, now don't go after the smile because I'm going to hear that after today again for Jack. No, I think it's going to be very interesting, Ron. The legislature cannot raise taxes. They cannot raise fees. Why? Because it's a political issue? No, because people in the public, people running businesses, they don't have any more money to give, Ron. They don't have any more.
So how does the irresistible force, in other words, Mark Dayton, whether rightfully or wrongfully, believes he's got a mandate to do one thing. The legislature believes they have a mandate. I mean, at some point, this isn't like the federal government, I think, Tom, where they can kick the can down the road. The state of Minnesota is going to come up with a balanced budget at some point. Is this going to be a war, or do you believe that it's possible? Because I don't, but do you believe it's possible they can actually work something out together?
Well, first off, please do not give the federal government a free pass. They cannot keep kicking the can down the road because the day of reckoning, I believe, is here. They've got the next 12, 24 months. We got to be done with all this happy political talk, and we got to start being real about paying our debts and making sure that our kids have a future. But for Minnesota, I mean, one of the problems you have with the legislative commitment is that these people don't come into the legislature typically with a whole bunch of real-life experience. I mean, some are either on the back end of their careers, you know, they're now giving back to public service. The majority are walking in with no understanding of what it's like to struggle to raise a family, what it's like to struggle to run a business. So it's partly will they understand through their leadership, these people that have now been given their marching orders, their employment directive, which is start creating jobs again in this state? Will they understand that you cannot play politics any longer? It's not the political environment of old. It's an environment that is a stark reality that we got to start creating jobs. Will they know how to message it? Which is, don't get into this political bickering. Go out and say, Senator Dayton, here's the money we have. We got 5% more in revenue. This is all we have, okay? You go ahead and we'll respect you. You tell us as the governor, the leader, how you will redesign government and how you will get government to live within this additional revenue of 5%, and we'll work with you. If we get into that same place that it appears we might be headed to, where he says, I'm just going to raise taxes no matter what the message is out there, I think it could be a problem.
Yeah.
You know, you made a comment that this is not the politics of old. You know, from my perspective, this election, one of the things that I've noticed is that I felt that for at least the last 2 years, the electorate is much more informed now than I've ever seen them. And I saw that at town hall meetings over the health care bill. You had people quoting the bill. The citizens were reading the bill. They were studying. They knew the bill. You say that this is not the politics of old. Do you get an impression that anyone elected to office right now is going to be under such scrutiny and legitimate scrutiny from the people who voted for them? Do you think that these guys are certainly in a much tighter spot right now when it comes to doing what their constituents want?
Yes, I do. I think there's people who have been there for a long time, and Ron, you've been around, you've met a lot of these folks over the years. It was a different time when you could go to Washington and be removed, when you could represent western Minnesota and show up in the Senate in St. Paul and talk one way back in Candy, Ojai, talk a different way when you got to downtown St. Paul. That doesn't happen anymore. It's seamless. You know, there's the new media that is out there that is instantaneous, holds you accountable. And I'll add this, Chris, there are a lot of people like myself that if they're not doing it, we're going to start speaking up. Because that's what you're getting is, I think people who think that politics is old, that we can just go back to doing it the old way, they're going to start hearing more and more from their constituents in a very aggressive and direct manner. And those that recognize that they really are there to serve and they're listening, they're going to do just fine.
Yeah, because I mean, people, I was really impressed and am every day. I mean, I'm in a job where I talk to them every day. You know, I talk with these people every single day, and they know what's going on. They know the consequences of the decisions that are being made now more than I've ever seen in my life. And I think that any guy that's elected to office right now better not, you know, don't unpack all your stuff, because I think that people are going to send that packet quickly if they don't get the results they want. Speaking of results,
I like that.
oh, look at that, a little applause. How about that, huh? I'm rocking. You know what? I'm having the delicious Pure Market Express. I don't even know what this is. It's some kind of tropical peach stuff. If I had vodka, man, would this be good.
I have some.
Do you?
Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. You're listening to the Roundtable. We're live at our Town Hall studios here. It's News Radio 100.3 K-Talk. Tom Emmer with us, Big Ron Rosenbaum. And, well, we're just having a little recap here on the governor's race. What else you got there, Big Ron?
Well, I gotta, listen, let's be adults here, Tom. You didn't lose because of Mark Dayton. You lost because of Horner, okay? In my view, had the Republican vote not been split, and the question is this an actual split in the Republican Party that can't be mended? I mean, when you had the Arnie Carlsons, the Dave Dernbergers, the Tom Horners, whatever, seemingly in a different party than guys like you, and I mean, the best evidence of that is that they publicly and probably privately supported Horner. What does that mean for the future of the Republican Party?